Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my new friend, Lulu Agan.
Aloha.
So I am so excited to introduce Lulu to you, and I know you're going to love her as much as I do because she has a way of helping uplift women like you've never seen before. She's a yogini, which we have to talk about what that is, a surfer. She's an empowerment coach, and she's the Officer of Bliss at SwellWomen. And we're going to talk about all of that and how she got into being so passionate about helping others and finding their way. And then we're going to talk about something else later. So later on, hopefully. Okay. So Lulu, why don't you, for people that don't know you yet, why don't you share a little bit about your journey to SwellWomen and what made you so passionate about this subject?
Okay. Well, it's a long journey, but I will cliff note it. Are we supposed to be side by side? Because the video just went to me.
I
Good.
I put you full screen. I put you full screen on purpose. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. So yes, so basically, the first time I ever went to a yoga class, I was completely blown away. And it was the first time that I ever really came into my body. I think for a very long time I was living in my head and not my body. And so that's where the yogini comes in, is that this kind of idea of really finding something that not only brought me into my body, but really connected me to this spirituality that's within me and all around me. So that's where the journey began. And since that moment, I really desired to share yoga with the entire world because of how much it changed my life. And so I planted a seed of one day having a, yoga retreat center. And I also loved food. So I wanted to open a little restaurant. And that built upon each other to lead me not to exactly the path that I desired when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. There was a little divert in there where I was in real estate. I became a private chef for 16 years, working for the rich and famous, but mostly the rich. And then that led me to finally my dream of running retreats and empowering women all around the world by having the opportunity to buy SwellWomen in 2014. So that's where we are today, the last 11 years. SwellWomen encompasses all of my passions: surfing, yoga, travel, adventure, empowerment, nature, all these beautiful things. And when it comes to surfing, it's something that I learned late in time. So this was another big transition into kind of my healing journey, was surfing. The first time, I'd always desired to want to learn how to surf since I was a little girl. And then finally I had the opportunity when I think I was 37 or 38 years old to go to Hawaii and learn how to surf. And that first wave took empowerment to a whole new level. I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a connection to source energy, Mother Ocean, myself, riding this wave, riding this energy, and it just blew my mind. So my second addiction from yoga became surfing. And so that's where SwellWomen was just the perfect melding pot of everything that I desire and wanting to share that with the world. Does that answer your question, Kathy?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. I know you and your energy as this joyful, let's play creative energy, which may be from the chef side of it and a lot, and being in nature, a lot of it. Is that how you reconnect people to who they really are?
Through just being playful. Yeah, totally. So, I mean, when people come on my retreats, or even if, now I'm doing virtual experiences and things, but I love to play. I think life is a big playing field, and it's an opportunity for us to dream big and learn and grow and expand and heal and actually cultivate the life of our deepest desires. And so that invitation comes to play when you come on a retreat and you're disconnecting from your everyday life and really stepping, removing the hats of your life, all the roles that you play, and all of a sudden you're welcoming yourself back home to yourself. And I just love watching it because, in the very beginning, all the women are tense and they're like, oh my God, what to expect? Most are brand new to surfing. And, and this is like other people like me learning in their mid 30s, all the way to like 72 years old is my top woman who learned how to surf. And it's just like, right? When you say yes to surfing, you're saying yes to yourself, and you're saying yes to a whole gamut of things in terms of like fear of the water, fear that you can't do it, all these things come up. And then when you ride that first wave, it's like, oh my God, I can do this. And everything that you learn in the water can be applied to your everyday life. I call it surfing the waves of life. Like, everyone knows that your life has highs and lows and everything in between. And that's what this whole journey is all about, is this experiencing life in its fullest capacity. And so we have to invite play into it, because when you're learning something new, you're tapping into your little inner child who is learning how to ride that bike for the first time and uh, totally surrendering to failing. But as adults, that becomes a lot harder because we want to be perfect, like right off the bat, or we've done the hard things. And so we think this is going to come easy. And surfing really is probably one of the hardest sports ever. But when you can surrender and you can open your heart up to just meeting nature where it is, meeting yourself where you are, and have fun in the wipeouts and have fun in the riding the waves. And then, of course, tying it into yoga, it's this place where we can go inward and we can really take time to like feel our bodies, feel what it's like to be in our bodies, tap into our emotions. And not only that, but tap into the wisdom that's all around us all the time, which is, of course, what your game is, Kathy, is that spirituality, that those psychic intuitive abilities that we have. So that's where the two come together. And then everything else is like the pleasure of eating, the pleasure of connecting with other women, the pleasure of being in a new destination that just blows your mind, right?
So, so where did the name SwellWomen come from? Is that from water swells too? Is that where did the
Yeah.
is that where it come from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So I actually bought the company in 2014 from one of my soul sisters who became a mom and wanted to focus all of her energy on that. So it was a perfect, her desire to release the company and then me to buy it and go for my dream. So she created the word, and swell is two things. Swell is swell of the water and the
Uh-huh.
ebbs of flow of the water. It also includes well, which is wellness, right? And then women is that it's all about empowering women.
That's so cool. So is it kind of like out back where you Outward Bound is what the name of the there's a
Oh yeah,
there
I've done that.
yeah. So is it kind of like that only easier?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's definitely surfing is outward bound, I think really pushes your boundary. I mean, it intentionally triggers fear, like because you're doing like really hard physical things. So I would say this is a modified version because really it's at your own pace. It's surrendering, you're pushing yourself. You're not really being pushed by the external. You have this internal desire to connect with your body and connect with the waves and connect with the energy and connect with nature. So it's like you're in control of what's happening.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
so how many people can you um work with at one time? I mean, if there's are there 8 people out there surfing and you're the lifeguard?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I kind of like to call myself the cheerleader. So for all of my retreats, we definitely go to these beautiful destinations where there's waves for all levels, including absolute beginners. And I keep the retreats small, and that's really it's something very personal for me. I love to connect with every single woman on retreat, and I feel like when it's bigger than 8, if I don't already know everybody, then it kind of gets dispersed into smaller groups. So I like to keep them small, anywhere from like 4 to 8 women coming on a retreat. There's also etiquette involved with that when it comes to surfing. So we don't like to bring a huge crowd out into the water. But and I hire the professionals locally. So I partner with surf schools and surf coaches that know the breaks, that can keep us safe, and that, they're doing all of the teaching, and then I'm just doing all of the integrating, and also being the biggest cheerleader on the water, because when someone rides that first wave, I'll be the first one to admit that I'm crying and in tears and just applauding them. And I know how much that means, when you take that first wave and you stand up and you're riding it and you're like, holy macaroni. I mean, I could use a lot of swear words right now, but it's like the most incredible feeling of your life, and one that you will never forget.
I love this. I love the fact that you're getting people out of their normal environment where they can have the breakthroughs and they can integrate it before they go back in their environment. So many people do retreats locally, and you go back home and you're cooking dinner and you're dealing with the same things over and over again. And so you just go back into a program almost. You're in this delight and expanded space, and then you condense again to do your robotic stuff, and then you get back out. And it sounds like these trips allow you to stay out, stay in bliss, and reconnect to who you really are on a bigger level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the retreats, for the most part, because you're filling up your cup so much and you're prioritizing all of your own needs, wants, and desires while you're on holiday and away from everybody and away from your life and your demands of life. And what I like to do, or what I like to advise or inspire people to do, is that to take at least a little bit of this home with you, and to be able to microdose your bliss over time. So I love the attendees, to the guests, to really focus on how this retreat made them feel. And then let's say they felt peaceful, right? And I'm like, okay, so your job at home is to microdose peace every single day, because I believe that even if you can microdose it a little bit, 5 minutes over time, just that moment where you can reconnect to your breath, yourself, your practice, when you work out, go for a walk, connect with nature, all of that is going to add up over time, and it's better than not doing it at all. And I also know that, for women in general, it's really important to fill up your cup first. So as we microdose, that microdose probably will feel so good that over time it makes it easier to say yes to yourself, prioritize yourself, and then maybe it extends to 15 minutes a day. And then maybe it's twice a day, 15 minutes. And then maybe it's even an hour, because you're like, oh my gosh, I can show up so much better in my life and serve those, my family, my job, all of these things when my cup is full. So I call it microdosing your bliss.
That's perfect. So do you help people after they get back as well? So is there a pre-time before doing the retreat, and then an after the retreat, so that people can hold on to it for a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, we're connecting. I always create a little WhatsApp group for the guests, because we love to stay connected, and most people end up making friends for life. So that's really beautiful. And I'm always available, of course. I don't necessarily have um, anything in place. It's a very good idea, Kathy, actually, is I don't have like an integration or follow up or connection calls or anything after, but you're kind of planting some seeds of like, oh, that would be really good.
What I
Yeah.
do. Well, I
Yeah, this
just
is
know
amazing. I'm like, ding, 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 ding.
I did all the avatar of processes. I did 5 or 6 classes, and I remember the last one, which was called Wizards. I just blew out. I had a white light experience and everything, and a day later, I'm in the airport, and
Wow.
no, and there's no support. You're like,
Right.
I'm on a different planet. What do I
Right.
do now? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's
I
why,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I do have my Swell 360 group, which is like my wellness tribe. And I think that's a really good opportunity for women to stay connected to other like minded women. I also have my Swell Collective. So I'm just brainstorming. I'm like, I have my Collective, which is my private community. And so that's another opportunity, not only for me to share wisdom, but for people to connect and share. And maybe they have a poem they want to share, or they're going somewhere and they're like, hey, is anyone in Utah, like Salt Lake City? I'm going to be there next week. And it's a way for people to connect. So there is that, but there's nothing really official,
Okay.
which
Well, my friend Felice just was at a event this weekend, and she says, yes, so speaks to the current experience I am having. Paying attention, realigning each and every day to the clarity vision, attuned to whilst away the last 6 months, and now returning to pack up my things. So but everyone's going through these huge changes. If they're really sensitive like I am, these solar flares or whatever those codes are that we're getting right now are rearranging all of us. And even if we've done a lot of work, we're getting to do more. we're getting
yeah.
see more of like, ooh, that's still there, or that again, how could it even be there still?
Mm.
Right?
The
Could you?
journey never ends.
And then you croak. um,
And then you die, and then you just go into your bliss body, and everything's hallelujah, no
and then
pain.
try to go back on the roller coaster again. Okay, so I'd love if you would share, if you could share some transformations that you've seen
Mm.
that people have had, because a lot of people are in a corporate environment or a job they just know is not really their soul mission, but the money, the golden handcuffs are keeping them, or they're only part-time doing what they really love. They're doing it on the weekends or at night, and they haven't made that final jump. And something like a retreat with you that's safe and nurturing and teaches you to love yourself again and feel that you're
Mhm.
worth it, you're worthy, would be life-changing for those people. So I just wondered if you had anything you'd like to share that could help people that are in that in between.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, for many women in that in that realm, that kind of feeling of being stuck or wanting more, um, what I've witnessed is a retreat, like an in-person retreat, is an experience that's going to connect you to yourself. And I also encourage always connecting to your dreams. Like, what is it you want in life? How do you want to feel in life? Right. And there's clarity that happens. But because we're usually together for like 6 or 7 nights, it's it's like it kicks off something inside of you. It kicks off confidence and a little bit of clarity, and it gives yourself permission to dream big. And we I do coaching and things on the retreat to help define that and where to go and set some little mini goals and things like that. But I think ultimately, um, my virtual retreat experience, which is a 6-week experience, that's where like the really juicy stuff happens, because I get 6 weeks with every single guest, and we're in a group environment, or it can be private, but it's it's really then where you have an opportunity. And this is what I've formulated over time, that everyone in transition, there's like this process that you are invited into, which is really connect to the truth of where you are. So Kathy, like you gave the example of, I really don't like this job anymore. It's not for me. And in fact, some of the retreat guests I had are that just in Costa Rica. I just got back from Costa Rica. They're in that same transition. It's like, but what's next? And it feels really scary, because if you've been in a job for 20 years, 30 years, or even 10 or whatever it is, you have the security of the income and you have all these things. So the first step is just to honor the truth of where you are. And then over time, and then definitely like recharge your batteries, get in touch with yourself, all about bliss care, connecting to yourself. And that's what a retreat does, or even the virtual experience. We kind of create those mini retreat experiences virtually. And then it's about diving into, what is it that my heart desires? And I feel like at that point, most women can get really clear, but then overwhelm sets in, or fears, or even they could be triggering themselves, like, who am I? Am I worthy enough? Things like that. And that's where the work begins, where it's a combination between having this opportunity to really get clear on what you want, but also look at what could be getting in the way and anticipate that while you're stepping into little baby inspirational steps towards that dream. And this is what I've witnessed on all of my retreats, is that women who have always dreamt about reading a book. I have several about the book thing. There's many women that are super creative, and their creative outlet is writing. And they've always dreamt about it, but now they're actually executing. And they're looking at their job as a way of like, oh, wow, I can go to my job and I know this by heart and I have the security. They can come from a place of gratitude versus like, oh God, this is so horrible and I don't want to go to work. They can come from a place of gratitude because it allows them the security blanket to take some time to write that book and take the steps to get the words on paper and things like this. And then when the book takes off, then you can let go of the job. It was kind of like me with SwellWomen. It was like I was a private chef for 16 years. I was making great money doing what I absolutely loved. And then I bought the company. And so there was 2 years of this transition. And I was grateful for both. And then I was like, okay, it's time. And you'll always know when it's time to take the big leap off the cliff and be like, I'm letting it all go. And you trust and surrender that everything's going to be fine because the universe is always conspiring for you and never against you.
So how are you so skinny if you're a good chef?
Oh my God. You might see my upper body. I'm definitely a normal sized human being. I love food. So I receive food as like pleasure and I allow myself to really enjoy it. And I think that mentality allows me to, physically receive it and digest it and, absorb the nutrients and then let it go.
Wouldn't it be cool if you had made a journal for people to use and there was recipes in it as well?
Oh God,
as
that would be cool.
Yeah, we could do that. Okay, so anyway.
Actually, when I worked for kind of one of my famous people, which is known. Mostly, I can't share who I've worked for before, but as a chef, I worked for Joan Collins. You know who she is?
Yes.
Yes, Joan Collins for like 4 or 5 years. I can't remember, but she always encouraged me to write a book, and I did have a vision about this book, which was like a recipe, how it was inspired, but it's more like Chef Lulu comic, like a comic book. And it's kind of like a comic with a recipe and then the story behind it and what I learned from it. And it's like also sharing these nuggets of gold. So I don't know.
Well, you could
Maybe
do it
that will
like
happen one day.
journal, because the thing would be that they wouldn't, like, you'd have a theme like gratitude, and this would be a recipe that makes you feel gratitude, that evokes gratitude. And then even on your journey, because if you don't journal or you don't capture the before, after you've had these transformations, you don't really remember the before anymore. It's
Totally.
like a page. And so if you journal it, then you have some reference like, wow, because it is like you open up a different set of eyes in the morning when after you've changed.
I love that.
So anyway, it's just an idea for fun.
I like it. I really like it. It's very creative. You're very creative, Kathy. I would have never thought of doing something like that.
Oh, really? Oh, geez. Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the idea that we would receive again as women, that women are so out of balance, especially the women that have been in corporate or in their own business. They've had their divine masculine, not divine, their masculine accentuated and not in balance at all. Well, yeah, I mean, anybody that's owned their own business as a woman had to play by those rules because those were the rules of the game. And now you're getting to a point where the Dalai Lama said the world will be saved by the Western woman, right? Did you know that? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we're in that transition now where we learn to love all of us and get us in balance. And men need to get their divine feminine in balance and their divine masculine in balance too. So this is it's a God job, what you're doing, really.
Thank you.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about how you see these changing times before we go to the power of just one. these times right now, I know a lot of the people that work with you and the people that I work with are not really watching the news or trying to stay away from the chaos, but they're sensitive. So they're picking it up, whether or not they want to or not. It's palpable.
Mhm.
Are you seeing a different kind of emotion emerging now in the people that you're working with, or are you seeing more hope and seeking from the people that you're working with?
I think, a lot of the women that I'm working with, they recognize that there's a lot of turbulence on the external world. And I think they're becoming super curious. Like, this is not mine. How much do I want to react to this? Some of it's out of control. And I truly believe that it kind of it's triggering a curiosity to cultivate an internal calm, peace, grounded world inside of ourselves, because that's truly where it all resides, right? It's like the external factors of the world, whether it's now or, during the pandemic or just everyday life, right? It can be a roller coaster. It's like, again, going back to the waves, you're riding these ebbs and flows. But a lot of women are seeing now that they have to create a boundary and they have to start tapping into the internal, limitless peace and love that's within inside of themselves. And if they can anchor into that and they learn how to anchor into that, then the external doesn't seem so wild.
Great. That's great, because I do think that there's ways that people, they either shut down and kind of hide because they don't want, they
Yeah.
can't handle the input, the energy input,
Mm.
or they go for it because it's like it's almost like the fear of death in a lot of ways. Your primal fears show up, that what if this and what if that, and you
Mm.
don't realize how much you're creating that by your inaction,
Yeah.
by your being on the treadmill of your thoughts, that you're stuck until something breaks you out. Either your soul goes, hey, right? Just like
Yes. You get a little nudge like, maybe it's time to start meditating.
well, what I love is that not everybody does yoga the way that it sounds like you do it. A lot of yoga is about the pretty outfits that people wear when they go
Mm.
to the studio. It's not spiritual, it's not necessarily inner work. It was designed to be that, but there's so many varieties of yoga now that it kind of lost its inner work part
Mm.
to get spread all over the world. Do you agree with
Yeah.
that?
I don't, Kathy, I don't know if I totally agree with that because I was attracted to yoga. I mean, I did my first classes when I was living in Chile, like many, many, many years ago. And it was like Kundalini yoga. And I was like, what the heck is this? This is crazy, right? I wasn't ready for it. And then the journey started where I was kind of invited to these more vigorous flows and Ashtanga and this power yoga. And it was because the invitation was there. It was like, what a great way to open up my body and become more, I don't know, to become a better athlete and also quite a workout because you're working out. So my attraction at first was this kind of power, vigorous yoga. And then my journey over the last, I don't know how many years now, I guess it would be over 20, is that yoga is so much more of that. And so I believe that it doesn't matter how you start or how you're invited into the world of yoga, eventually it's going to have an impact on your mind, your body, and your soul.
Perfect. That's perfect. And we forgot about our body.
Mm.
Our body is I mean, we stood in line to get these bodies to be here right now during this huge time of change, and our body is a gift to work with this system here. And if we're always out, or we're not honoring it and not taking care of it, then we're not going to have the energy to do what we came
Yeah.
here to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
couldn't agree more.
breath is a big part of
Mhm.
this, right?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, this body, this human body, and we tend to treat it in our minds so poorly. We just like, we're not very grateful. I mean, I would say, speaking, I can speak for myself. I have this chatter in my mind like, oh, look at your cellulite, or look at this, or look at that. And I'm quite the mean girl to myself. I would never say that to another human being. And yet, so it's really watching the words, and this body is giving us an opportunity to have the human experience, you know?
So,
And we really have to take care of it. And not only that, for me, my journey has been like, I was really safe here, and I really didn't want to be in my body because I didn't like it. And so that journey of coming to just love all parts of me has been super fun and healing and amazing, and also painful. And I just would encourage everybody to like treat your body as like this. I know it's so cliche, but it is this temple that allows you to experience and feel all of the emotions on the spectrum, and to enjoy all facets of life.
and I love the idea that we're a project in process. It's not. It doesn't have to all happen like it did with me with this white light experience, and I was thinking one way, and then the next day, not the same person. That's a little
Yeah.
disorienting. It's interesting, disorienting, but yeah. Now I think what's happening, the solar energy is encoded to activate our DNA. And we're so blessed, especially if you're out in the sun like you were, and you
Mm.
sun and water and fresh air. That is just a gift that is just gonna make a huge difference in those people's lives forever, forever. It,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people are going on spiritual retreats where they go in
Mm.
group, and they may be like going to Egypt or Peru. They're going to beautiful locations, but they're not necessarily physical adventures. And what you're
Mm.
offering really is much more personal development oriented, right?
I would say it just naturally happens. There's a lot of fun that happens, but I'm intentionally creating, a balance between yin and yang energy. So the the surfing is very explosive and very high energy and very yang. And then the yin is, I do that with the yoga. So I teach or have my yoga teachers teach restorative or yin yoga, so we can really go into the body, connect with the breath, and take time, like lots of leisurely time, just to be in the poses to open up the body and the fascia and all of that fun stuff. So I do try to intentionally create both the feminine and the masculine and create that balance.
So do people have to be in pretty good shape to go? I mean,
No,
no. Okay.
no. No,
Okay.
all shapes, sizes, ages, athletic abilities, it does not matter. It's just meeting yourself where you are, and saying yes and going for it. And um, I have witnessed, I think in the 22 years now of SwellWomen, there must be thousands of women that have gone on retreat, and everyone can do it. Everyone, every woman. It's amazing.
So how many of these do you do a year that are actually at a location versus
In
the
person.
virtual? Mhm.
Yeah, like, so this year I kind of pared things down to like six, but I'm currently hiring a team again. And so typically I run anywhere from, 12 to 20 retreats a year, but I also recognize that I'm being called to do a couple different things. So um, we're going to get back up there. We're going to get back up to at least 12 of a year.
Oh, I don't know if you could hear me. How many virtual ones?
Virtual is going to be, I couldn't. Yep. So virtual, we're going to run probably 2 to 4 a year. So this year it'll be 3,
Fantastic.
and next year 4. Yeah, it's amazing. It's
Well,
amazing. It's really
cool
quite the journey.
to do a virtual and then have everyone meet. That would be super
That would
cool.
be I am absolutely thinking of doing that as part of the component. Because I just think that at the end, having a celebration of all the women that went on a virtual experience to have like a long weekend somewhere would be super fun. So that is part of my
Oh, good. Oh,
plan.
good.
It's being developed.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for all of that, because I think people don't realize that their journey through life can be full of creativity and joy. And if they're settling for something less than that, whether they're getting it in their off time or during their work hours, you spend at least 8 hours a day at work. And some of us that love what we do, we spend even more. The opportunity is now to switch it around, and there's going to be a constant change in the business environment because of AI and about all the different ways that life is changing and upgrading and adapting to new technologies. And so there's going to be people that are going to need that energy that they would get, and self-reliance and confidence in themselves that they would get by doing your events, whether it's virtual or in person, that would help them energize enough to step up, step out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, life seems to fly by so fast, and I know, and have witnessed many, many women creating the lives that they absolutely love. And, it can start out with small, little inspired action.
That's so cool. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your event that's coming up called The Power of
Mhm.
Just One. Could you explain a little bit about it and how you were inspired? Because this is number
Yeah.
2. So there
Yeah, I
was
know. This is season
Power of
2.
Just One.
Yes. Yeah. So I really, really love hosting events. I mean, I love hosting retreats. And so what I wanted to do is create a gift to the world, bringing together amazing women, powerhouses that have, experienced life, and they're willing and open to share their personal stories. And also the one thing that sparked their journey to where they are now. And so it's really a collaboration. It's a collaboration between all of these amazing women. I mean, last year I had like 30 speakers. This year I have 31 speakers. My goal is always 28. And it's amazing. I mean, last year we had 1,300 women participate, and knowing that this event positively impacted every single woman is just like mind blowing. And what I want to share is that it's an opportunity to hear from Kathy and some other women about their journey, and that I find that super relatable. It's like, oh, I'm not the only one. And then each woman has been like put on this planet to share the one thing that has transformed their life, whether it be breath work or EFT tapping or connecting to your psychic self, your team. Whether it's learning more about your physical body and your hormones and how to release fascia through melt. It's like the most amazing way to get to know incredible women and get inspired. And of course, it's the power of just one. So there's two things that are in play here. One is the power of just one is you. Because I believe that you have the ability to live and create the life of your dreams. And it starts with one step. And this one step could be something that inspires you, could be to connect to your body, it could be to um, inspire healing within yourself so that you're not ruled by your triggers or so triggered in life. And so this is my gift to everybody, and I love bringing women together. It's so powerful and so incredible.
Well, I'm so excited that I get to be a part of this. I want to show the website. So
I
you
know. Thank you.
okay right now?
Mm,
Okay, good.
of
So
course. Yeah.
let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. There we go. And I'll scroll on this side here.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So here's the
yeah.
website.
So remember when I said about microdosing your bliss? This is really an opportunity to, it's a free event. It runs from May 27th until June 8th. And every day, 2 or 3 speakers get released. So you can actually microdose this throughout your day. The conversations are around 30 minutes. I know some of them went, some of them went over. But we have, oh my gosh, we have so many incredible women. I feel so honored to have interviewed every single woman on this page. We have Anne-Marie Kramer, who's really talking about breath work and getting into the body and somatic practices. We have Chelsea, who's going to do inner child healing, and Courtney McDermott, who's just an overall powerhouse empowerment leader in the industry. Therese is going to do EFT tapping. We have Susan Gold talking about visualization, and oh my gosh, Crystal is talking about how to connect with the plants. We have so many women here. We're talking about money, hormones, women's empowerment. What else is going on here? Psychic, spirituality. Oh, hypnosis. Oh my gosh, so many women. And I know that this page doesn't really give them any justice, but it's really quite exciting to have all of these topics really featured about mind, body, soul. And again, just really simple practices that you can take one thing that resonates with you from 38 opportunities, one thing that resonates with you that you could put in, to microdose into your life now that will create some sort of change or connection with self or healing. And Kathy, of course, we have you, and you're talking about how to connect to your psychic powers, which I loved our conversation.
So, Lulu, let's talk a little bit more about your wonderful event that's coming up, The Power of One. So, why don't we talk about this is our second year, second year. And what are you seeing different this year from last year?
Oh yeah, there's like this organic theme. So Kathy, it's really interesting because I focus on the overarching theme of like mind, body, soul, microdosing, like little inspired actions. And so it's interesting because last year I didn't even know. Like I literally do a little prayer before I sit down and I'm like, hey, if there's any inspirational woman that has a great story, that's doing the work, that's also has a nugget of gold to share, then please like let me find them. And sure enough, Kathy, it would be like I would open up Instagram and people that I've never seen in there before is like, oh wow, okay, boom, boom. And then that creates like this momentum and then the referrals start. So it's like you find that one person and they're like, oh, I have someone and I have someone and I have someone. So like Dr. Anna Maria Frank referred me to Courtney McDermott and Melissa Crook, and she gave me she spread the word wide. So it was just really beautiful how organically everything came together. And there seems to be a theme this year that's really more about, there's kind of more of a spiritual element a little bit in it, which I find fascinating. There's also sprinkling of inner child and triggers and these kind of things, like, and how we can heal that in order to really, because I believe that one of our purposes is like we're born in this world with innocence, love, divine energy, divine creativity, and we're just this bundle of love as babies. And then something happens and life happens, and then we start formulating these beliefs, and these beliefs, most of them we're not aware of them, and they end up showing up in our lives via triggers and fear. And so a lot of the theme this year kind of developed into that. And then of course with and Fran Bailey, and really talking about like there is so much more to us than this physical body. And I just loved how it took that turn, and it's really cool. So hopefully that's going to, and I believe that the right people are going to arrive to the event, and they're going to get their nugget of gold, and hopefully more than one nugget. And another thing I just want to mention is that I really, because it's all pre-recorded interviews, so people can watch in their own time, because I know that everyone is in different time zones. And so you have like a 24-hour watch period, but there is a live element, which I love, which is inside my Swell Collective, my private community. So it's not on Facebook or anything. And that's where every single day, each the guests get an opportunity to connect with the speakers live. So for those speakers that can come in on that day, you're going to have a little meet and greet, and you can ask questions and things like that, and also meet and connect with other women that are maybe on the same path as you. So
yeah, I think collaboration. Where's my book here? I really have been this year. Collaboration is competition. It's I'm reading this book. So, but why the future of work rewards a cross-pollinating hive mind, and how not to get left behind. And this is what you're doing: is you're creating this community where everyone brings their gifts. And I want to compliment you so much on your generosity. I know how much work this is to put this together. And you know that you're on assignment when you get these downloads to do these things, and the sense of urgency. Okay, I can miss a little bit of sleep. I can do this. Right?
Exactly. No, there's definitely like, it was, what happened was, and like, even this year, there was a little bit of like it didn't gain traction until I kept trying. And then there was one moment where I was like, universe, am I supposed to be doing this year? Like, I feel so strongly. And it basically, the download was to connect and remember. And I was like, connect and remember. Okay. So I sat in meditation, and then I remembered last year how there's two facets. One is 1,300 women coming together to learn from 28 plus amazing powerhouse women. There's that. So they're getting the inspiration, but also I witnessed all of us as speakers coming together, and the collaboration that happens from that, and knowing that, A, we're not alone. That, sometimes we feel so alone. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we put on this world to talk about triggers and things like this? This is uncomfortable, right? So just knowing that now, like from last year to this year, 60 women, and the potential of collaboration and working together and sharing each other's gifts, that in alone to me is a big present, because now I can invite certain women on retreats to not be running these retreats by myself, but bring an amazing woman that's doing the power of gesture, like Jen Anks. And, tapping, like, there's a couple women that are doing tapping and hypnosis. And I just feel like there's synergy in that, and it can fast track people. That's the gift, is that you don't have to figure it out. You can just show up to this event and be like, oh my God, this woman is blowing my mind. And now I get to connect with her. And every single woman, Kathy, including yourself, are giving like these free gifts to take even a deeper dive, like guided meditations and tapping and ebooks and all these things. And it's like really women that are super passionate about what they're doing.
Right.
It's
I
cool.
think that there's plenty of room for all of us. And there's so many different, now this is my perspective. I think there's so many different types of humans here on planet Earth that all of us have to find our teacher. And it may be that you hear resonance in someone's voice, like either their voice excites you or irritates you.
Right.
But there's something about their energy that magnetizes you straight to them. And that what you're doing is you're giving your audience these opportunity to meet these people that they may have never known. And maybe that's their next step.
Yeah.
In their journey of spiritual happiness, wholeness. And I believe that we're activating more and more and more of junk DNA right now. And we need people to help guide us during that so that we can be present here. I think this whole time period is a way for us to evolve embodied. Most of the ascension techniques before have always been get out of the vehicle and go into some other space and then come back as a baby or as a walk-in. And we're this whole game we're playing right now, this evolution of our species is for us to hold more light in here.
Yeah.
And for us to meet 30 new people that we had never heard of, that might never show up in our Instagram feed, might never show up on our LinkedIn or YouTube or anything, and go, wow, there's something there for me. Because you can feel it right away, right?
Totally, totally. And you are so spot on, Kathy. It's crazy because I myself am so full of gratitude because I have learned more. Like EFT tapping has been like in my realm, and I'm like curious. And there was a woman last year that did it, and that now this year I'm like, oh wow, you can actually heal a lot just with this simple process and hypnosis and visualization. And I mean, even myself, I'm like, I learned so much. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It's
I,
crazy.
I understand. I did a summit not too long ago with near death experiencers, and I was like a kid in a candy store
Right.
because the articulation that people have of you calling it microdosing. It's like, oh, that is kind of a good word for that. Um, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
we have to be planted with these seeds and then recognize them. Our soul is putting these experiences into our perspective, and whether or not they stick or not is all up to us. And
Right.
I want to also say that you were a great interviewer. You really were kind with how you tried to bring out everyone's genius. And thank you so much for that, because that's an art form in itself.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. It's so fun. I love getting to know people. So that probably is one of my superpowers. And I didn't even know until I started doing this. So it's really fun.
So, tell us a little bit about the time frame for the Power
Yeah.
of One. Okay.
Mm. So it launches. So right now registration's open and you're sharing a link to everybody. So you can go grab your free ticket. The party starts on May 27th and it runs for 13 days. So the last day is June 8th. And again, there's a 24-hour window where you can watch the interviews in your own time. So there's no pressure to like have to arrive. The only scheduled thing is if you would like to come to the live party. And this year I'm opening up to all guests to come live. And it's really a great opportunity not only to connect with the speakers, myself, get to know other women, but in that live, I'm doing the VIP giveaway prizes, which is so fun because every single speaker has literally donated like an incredible prize, which makes like, you know, these one-on-one sessions that they're giving, you know, they could cost $350, $450, $500. And it makes it that winner. I know the medicine is going to go into the right hands. Maybe that person wouldn't be able to afford it. And so with a VIP ticket, you get access to those giveaway prizes. And oh my gosh, I was like, can I win? I want a prize.
Oh, well, maybe that's should be the way you set it up next year, is that, well, let me have a little taste before I include you, Well,
Yeah.
the idea of this is a way to be in collaboration with other beautiful women and learn more about yourself, learn to love yourself even more, and to see all the possibilities. Because I think when you see how courageously these people dive into their gifts and how uh, passionate they are about it, it's contagious. And the more you see that, and you want to root them on, and you want to, I want a little bit of that, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's what it
totally.
is, right?
Yeah. And I loved what you said about like being resonant. Like, you know, not every speaker is going to resonate with you. But the ones that do, like even even your interview, I was in tears. And there were like, I don't know, there were five of them where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to start bawling my eyes out. What the heck? Because what you had to say was perfect, exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. So it's really, I mean, there's no just come. It's a free event, right?
Right,
It's like
right.
there's
Well,
no catch. There's no
right. Well, the thing that we want everyone to know is that there are a lot of these free events out there, but I can vouch for this one. And I just hope as many of you that are watching this or get a chance to experience Lulu, that you follow what she's doing, because she's got her finger on something. Collaboration is going to be the way we go forward. It's the fastest way for you to evolve as a human, because we mirror each other and we all are really one being experiencing life from different perspectives, fractals or mirror pieces, if you want to call it. And this will give you a leg up like you can't believe. These people are divinely assigned their passionate projects. And once you get a feel for that, you may find yours a little faster.
Yeah. Oh, I'm covered in goosebumps, Kathy. It's so true. Like,
Just
I just
saying.
want to say that, you know, me at 56 years old is not the same person I was at 27, right? And I could have never gotten to where I am if it wasn't for the support. I could cry. If it wasn't for the support of all the amazing women that have helped me, and it's like I could have never gotten there ever
Right.
without support. And so for those that are feeling stuck or unmotivated or not clear, and this is the opportunity.
Yeah, so watching this versus Netflix or some that there's so much passion, but it's more survival. This
Mm,
is not survival. This is thriving, and you
mm,
get a chance to see how other people are thriving, get ideas of how it might fit into your own self, and blossom. And
yeah.
that's what we want. We want as many people waking up to their divinity as possible right now. And Lulu, thank you so much for this
You're
opportunity
welcome.
to be a part of your gang this year.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be a wonderful experience for me to meet all these people that you've gathered and learn more from everyone, and give each other the platform to be seen again. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other part of this, is so many sensitives and incredibly talented people have been afraid, maybe from past life experiences, to be visual because they got killed in the
Right.
past,
Yes.
for being whatever they were. But it's safe to come out and play now. And in fact, the energy kind of requires that joyful play and
Mm,
new curiosity and wonder energy in order to embody these new frequencies. So thank you so much for putting this all together.
of
Thank you
course.
for what you do for SwellWomen. It sounds so cool. And you are amazing doing surfing, yoga, and cooking and retreats. Who would
Thank you,
have thought you
Kathy.
could have put that all together? That's so cool.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I love to eat. I love to surf. I love yoga and I love empowerment. So,
And we love powerful women. So here we go.
yes, exactly.
Oh,
Boom.
so Lulu, how's the best way? I've been putting your information on the screen, but how's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
I mean, the best way is like just to go to the website. I mean, you can follow along with Instagram. Definitely my private community. It's come in there, say hi. I'm always reachable with a DM, or you can email me, lulu@swellwomen.com. I'm definitely don't play that much on social. So I've just focused my energy on emails and the private community and that kind of connection. But
Wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful. Well, I recommend this. I hope you guys will take me up on spending at least, be curious and spend at least a little time on this, and then you'll be hooked. and then you'll
Yoo-hoo!
and you'll see how much you don't have to go it alone. And you really do have a way to get yourself out of the chaos in this environment and back into right action, right thought, kindness, love, self-love, and courtesy. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you, Lulu. Thank you.
Oh, I'm grateful too. Thanks, Kathy.
Okay.
Have
Thank
a
you,
beautiful
guys.
day.